For the last 30 years or so, we've all known what the internet is, right? It's something you look at. You're looking at it right now. We use screens, we click on buttons, we scroll past ads. But what if the biggest change happening to the internet right now is one that we're not supposed to see at all? Just let that sink in for a second. The most important version of the web is being built behind this massive curtain. It's not about cooler graphics or faster streaming. No, it's an invisible revolution in the very architecture of the internet. And it immediately raises a huge question. Well, the answer is, it's for them, autonomous software agents, these little AI brains that are beginning to use the web for us on our behalf. And this whole new paradigm, it actually has a name. Yeah, welcome to the agentic web. We're talking about a fundamental pivot. Websites are shifting from being these flashy digital billboards trying to get our attention to becoming more like a structured data buffet, laid out perfectly for an AI. And that begs the next question. How in the world does an agent actually see this new web? So let's talk about the eyes of these agents, because they're not looking at fonts or fancy pictures. They couldn't care less about your color scheme. What they need to see is the pure logic, the raw information, without all the noise that we're so used to. This table just lays it out so perfectly. You've got the web we all know and use, which is filled with visuals and ads and, let's be honest, a lot of distracting noise. But then you have the agentic web, which is the complete opposite. It's pure signal. It's all about clean data, straight logic, and direct connections. Think of it like the difference between flipping through a messy magazine and just getting a direct feed of pure information. So, how do you actually build that? Well, the solution is actually pretty clever and surprisingly simple in concept. It's something called Markdown for agents. Now, if you're not familiar with it, Markdown is just a really simple way to format text. In this case, it's acting like a special translator, creating a squeaky clean, text-only version of a website specifically for an AI to read. Here's the deal. When an agent shows up at a website, the site doesn't give it the messy, human version. Instead, it serves up what's called a semantic slimmed version. No ads, no tracking pixels, none of that stuff. Just the raw, structured, logical information. And the result? It's incredible. It takes an agent's ability to understand a site's purpose from, say, 80% accuracy to a perfect 100%. Okay, so these agents can now see and understand the web perfectly. That's a huge step. But to be truly useful, they need to do more than just look around. They need to act. And in our world, taking action often involves money. That's the next critical piece of this puzzle.
And this is where the Agentic Wallet comes into play. But don't think of it like your Apple Pay. It's way more like a smart piggy bank. It's this super secure, totally programmable little box where an agent can spend money but, and this is the key part, only within the very specific rules that you set. This is how software becomes a real economic player.
You can basically set up parental controls for your AI. You create what's called a smart fence around its wallet. So for example, you could tell a research agent, hey, you are authorized to buy any academic paper that costs less than $5, but you can only buy it from these approved academic websites. And that's it. The agent is programmatically locked into those rules. It literally can't break them. That's awesome for small, specific tasks. But what about buying a pair of shoes or ordering your groceries for the week? For that, some of the biggest players out there, like Stripe, are building something called Zero UI Checkout. It enables these things called ghost transactions. Here's how a ghost transaction works. It's so smooth. Your agent finds the shoes you want, then it requests a special, one-time use digital token that is only valid for that exact pair of shoes at that exact price. The payment clears, the shoes are on their way, and here's the most important part, the agent never ever saw or held your actual credit card details. It's seamless for you and incredibly secure.
All right, so we've given our agents eyes and we've given them a wallet. They can perceive the world, they can interact with it economically, but how do they find the specific things they need? And where do they actually do the heavy lifting, the actual work?
Well, for one, they're not using the search engines we use. Not really. See, traditional search is all about discovery for humans. It gives you 10 blue links and says, here, you figure it out. Agent native search is totally different. Its goal is fact retrieval. It doesn't give the agent a list of options. It gives it the answer, the exact API endpoint, the precise price, the direct piece of data it needs to take the next step. And once an agent gets that data, it needs a safe place to actually work with it. That's what an isolated container is for. Think of it as a secure digital workbench, or even a digital quarantine zone. So if you ask an agent to analyze your spending habits, it instantly spins up one of these high-security containers, does the math, gives you the result, and then the container and all the data inside it just vanishes. Poof. It's like a blast shield that protects both your data and the agent itself. So now we have all the pieces of the infrastructure, right? A way for agents to see, a way for them to pay, a way to find things, and a place to execute tasks. Now, this isn't just some tech upgrade. No, this is creating an entirely new kind of economy with a brand new kind of company.
This leads us to a really radical and kind of mind-bending idea, the Zero UI startup. That means a company with no website for humans, no app for you to download, no interface for you to click on at all. It is completely 100% invisible to us.
So you have to be asking, how do they even make money? The answer is as simple as it is profound. Their customers aren't people. Their customers are other software agents. They are built to operate in a world of machine-to-machine commerce that we never even lay eyes on. We're talking about the B2A economy. That's business to agent. Just imagine a company whose only product is having the world's most efficient algorithm for optimizing shipping routes. They don't need a flashy website. They just need a clean API that another company's logistics agent can call up and use. They become part of this agentic underworld of commerce, working silently for us in the background.
Now, all of this sounds incredibly powerful and efficient, but it brings us to what is, without a doubt, the biggest question of all. In a world where these agents are doing the browsing and the buying and the working, where do humans fit in?
This analogy just says it all. Our role is fundamentally shifting from being the doer to being the manager. You know, we're becoming the conductors of an orchestra of agents. We're not playing every single instrument anymore. Instead, our job is to set the tempo, to choose the music, and to guide the overall performance.
And what that really means is that our most important job isn't about execution anymore. Our new job is to design the systems of trust. It's up to us to build those smart fences, to define the rules, the ethics, and the ultimate goals for these incredibly powerful agents that are going to be operating on our behalf.
Look, this isn't some far-off science fiction. This invisible agentic web is being built as we speak. Our role is becoming more strategic, more creative, and frankly, more important than it's ever been. So the only question left to ask is, are you ready to pick up the baton?